Yo, what is happening, everybody? Neil and I producing here, trying to figure out the different buttons, how they work in the back end so we can get different stuff up on screen. And clearly everybody's excited about it. Hey, guys in the YouTube chat, via yourself and myself. But either way, it is time to talk about some Sorare MLB for the upcoming slate. If you guys come in and watch, do us a favor, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you are in the YouTube channel, throw some questions at us. Neil and I usually are able to answer the different questions that you guys have regarding Sorare and the upcoming slate. Hey, we've got right here High Flyer 89. He's in the YouTube chat saying, love y'all. Thank you for the support. And yeah, any questions all you have about Sorare, throw them into the chat and we could answer them. And it could be anything, general strategy, questions about the upcoming slate, anything like that. And if you guys have not signed up for Sorare yet, use the link below. Totally free to sign up at Sorare. But if you use our link and sign up through that, they know that we're the ones who sent you. But yeah, no cost associated with it. You just sign up and make a free account clicking on the link. Neil, what's going on with you?
Yeah, I have a competitive Sorare lineup. Of course, today being the last day of the Monday through Thursday slate, but currently in the money and hoping to move up. I've got Shane McClanahan, I think is supposed to be pitching tonight, so I've got him still left to go. Kind of excited about that. Yeah, excited to see how this slate goes. And then we've got an interesting one coming up as well that we'll discuss.
Yeah, and we'll check on in your lineup too, because I want to see what our rooting interest will be for today. But first, High Flyer 89 wants to know, how do we feel about Arizona today? So let's see. Question about today's slate in particular. And yeah, I'm going to be able to help out with that a little bit because I just finished building my normal MLB DFS lineups right before we started this. And I can tell you that Arizona is the team today that we have with by far the best odds being the highest scoring team. We have them an 18% chance for the early slate. So they're a popular team today, but if you're looking to build lineups on Sorare and trying to figure out what to do with like a team like Arizona, I know the slate is already locked, but yeah, it seems like a really good spot for Arizona against Jake Irvin. So High Flyer, I would recommend them strongly as a team to be getting to. I think they are definitely a spot that makes a whole lot of sense. For reference, just the ownership projections and how teams are, how the field, for instance, might be feeling about a team like Arizona, depending on what it is you're talking about them for. You know, on DraftKings, they're projected for 17% ownership, 18% chance to be a top scoring team today. Hard to not like the Arizona Diamondbacks in any kind of format. But Neil, let's see your Sorare lineup that's going on right now. I want to see what our rooting interests are and where you are standing as of now.
Yeah, so it's good news for me that Arizona is looking really good in our tools because it doesn't, of course, when you look on the screen, I'm showing, you see three lineups here. The one that I care about the most is the limited pro contest. That's the one that I like, the primary one that I focus on, and then I just throw cards into the other ones just in case. But the limited pro contest that you see on the far right here, I've got three Arizona Diamondbacks bats still going in Corbin Carroll, Christian Walker, Kettle Marte for the Diamondbacks. So hopefully they do go off, and maybe I can even move up and get better than a limited tier 5. Maybe I'll get a tier 4 or something.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Reds let you down a little bit there. They never fail as chalk in regular DFS contests. But are those like the only two Reds players that didn't go bonkers this week?
Yeah, good question. Did the Reds? They were playing the Rockies in Cincinnati, right? So it was like a primo spot, and they just these two, Jonathan India, Spencer Steer, let me down.
If I'm not mistaken, they had like one. Let me look at the Reds schedule. First off, they haven't lost a game since the War of 1812. It's been a minute since we've seen the Reds not win a game. But their offense also, I'm pretty sure, had some big games this week. Yeah, they put up 5 runs yesterday, 8 runs the day before. Let's see what else they did.
So there should have been the Monday slate also would have been.
Yeah.
The Monday game.
Maybe they might have had a dud. Because I remember I did really well. I think it was Monday that I did in. Yeah. So Monday they lost. Oh, no. I'm looking at the wrong date. June. What would have been that was. Which day was. Okay. So yeah. They put up these 3 games. They put up 5 runs, 8 runs, and 5 runs. And the one Monday was when they were kind of a dud in terms of at least the chalky hitters for DFS purposes. But yeah. I mean, 5 runs, 8 runs, 5 runs. And somehow I think you were also the only 2 Reds guys that didn't put up fantasy points.
It seems like it. They definitely let me down, especially relative to all of these D-backs guys doing fairly well. I mean, obviously, I'm hoping for a little bit more today, but doing their part there. So yeah, kind of disappointed to see the Reds let me down so much.
We've got Ryan Rennebaum in chat. This is kind of an interesting way to look at this. Ryan wants to know, It's his first time playing Sorare MLB. He wants us to rate his lineup. His lineup is Hunter Brown, Miguel Castro. So he's going with an actual relief pitcher there. Well, actually, I'm a little confused. You have Miguel Castro in there twice. I feel like there's been a misprint somewhere, Ryan.
Yeah. Probably a misprint.
Hunter Brown, Miguel Castro, Yoshida, then it says Miguel Castro again, Rushman, Gunnar Henderson, Matos, Kikuchi. So you've got an Orioles stack, and we can look at the upcoming line because it seems like that's really what you're built around, right? The Orioles.
Built around the Orioles. All right, so taking a look at this, they're playing in Baltimore against Seattle tomorrow. I assume that's all weekend. Baltimore playing Seattle at home, so pitcher TBD tomorrow. So I don't know who's pitching for the Mariners.
I don't think the Mariners have a listed starting pitcher for any of the games for the upcoming slate yet.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't have it on Friday, I think it's a safe assumption. Yeah. So hard to know, but certainly good enough players and good. Obviously, those are good cards to have going forward. Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rushman.
I like the correlation, right? I like the idea that you're stacking up the Orioles together. We know they're not going to be facing Luis Castillo, so that's a positive. Castillo pitched last night, so you're going to be missing him. Yeah, I mean, it would be helpful if we knew who the Mariners starters are for the next few days, but I don't really have any kind of issue with that. And then clearly also, it's not going to be, you're not going to be seeing Luis Castillo. So I tend to think that's a good lineup, but would like to know those Mariners starters.
And you can see here, Greg, look at my limited all-star lineup. I was surprised to see Jordan Romano put up 40 fantasy points.
My God. How did that? Let's look at that. How did that even happen? What is
that is a good question. Yeah, let's take a look. All right.
That is a ton of fantasy points.
For a relief pitcher, yeah. So he didn't make an appearance on Monday. On Tuesday, so he gets the 3 points for an inning pitched.
Okay.
10 points for a save. Oh, so you got 2 consecutive saves. So that's how it happens. 2 saves, and you get 5 points per relief appearance. So that right there is already 30 points with the 5 per relief appearance and 10 per save. And then he just had 4 points for strikeouts, 6 points for innings pitched. Interesting.
All right, so he crushed. Yeah.
So if you can get a closer to get 2 saves in that period, or probably, I don't know how much a hold is worth, but I think a hold is worth similar. So just getting those relief appearances multiple times, that's huge.
Yeah, I think a hold is worth 5, but we'd have to check on that. I'm not totally positive.
Okay.
Either way, though, yeah. Two outings. Is this the first time you've ever rostered Romano that he scored any fantasy points this year?
Well, and it's funny because it's still not in like the lineup that I care about. Like, as you can see here, this isn't a lineup that I put a lot of thought into. It's just kind of like, I'll just throw the rest of my guys in another lineup. I give it a tiny bit of thought, but it was like kind of my leftover plays. And of course, that's the one where Romano actually goes off instead of the ones where I have him in my limited pro.
Yeah, 40 points for Romano there. So pretty good stuff from the relief pitcher. Jordan Romano, maybe he's heating up. He's getting ready for you to use him more now.
Maybe. Although I think we have a Spencer Strider start coming up.
So Strider, yeah, probably because he started.
Actually, I'm going to delete my lineup that I have here because I made one already.
Yeah, when did he? I'm trying to remember. Did he start last on Tuesday?
I don't remember when the start was. Okay.
Yeah, it was Tuesday. And he got back on track. So Strider, who'd been on a little bit of a downturn lately, a couple starts where he got hit hard, starts on Tuesday. Tough matchup on the road against the Philadelphia Phillies. But 6 innings, 1 earned run, 0 walks, 9 strikeouts. Our guy is back. His glorious mustache, his gigantic quads, Spencer Strider. He's back. He's ready to score some fantasy points for us. So, yeah, that's good to see. So let me think. So he pitched Tuesday. Then he gets Wednesday off, Thursday off, Friday off, Saturday off. So Sunday he'd be next in line to start. Here's where it gets a little dicey, O'Neill. They had the game that was rained out last night. How much does that push back the entire rotation?
But do you think they would push back? I feel like they might just skip somebody. Like they don't want to push back Spencer Strider too much. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I guess I don't know what the Braves are thinking. He's projected as the starter in Sorare, but of course nobody really knows other than the Braves staff.
Let's say. Well, I'm looking at the announced starting pitchers because if they've announced him as the starter, then he's announced as the starter.
Sure.
So it would be Sunday. Sunday, the Braves are playing. Yeah, they have Charlie Morton announced as the starter for Sunday.
Uh-oh. Well, then I might need to switch things up. That's a
And then
bummer.
Jared Schuster on Saturday. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a Monday start for.
Well, that's going to change things. Not going to be able to use my Strider. The thing is, now I'm like, well, okay, Romano just had this big week, but like they're not going to use him like 3 games in a row, probably, are they? I feel like they try to avoid doing that. So a little bit of concern.
You do have, so those are the last 2 days. He's going to have today off.
True.
And
okay.
Then, and then he could be back to action for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then who do the Blue Jays play?
Good question. Let's see here.
Razor Ramon. I can't get any by my Chapman limited card. Which Chapman? Matt Chapman? Aroldis Chapman? If it's Aroldis Chapman, I understand why nobody would want to buy him. Which Chapman, Razor?
All right, so we've got the Blue Jays playing the A's.
Oh, Matt Chapman. Somebody will get that. Somebody will scoop up that Matt Chapman.
All right, so Blue Jays against A's. Feels like a good spot for the Blue Jays to pick up some wins, but can the A's keep it close enough?
So they should. I mean, the other thing, too, is like if you look at the spreads for baseball games, it's not like you see teams favored by like 4.5 runs or anything like that.
Right, that's true. You would expect them to be able to keep it close, at least 1 or 2 of those games.
Yeah, and he's live for a save as long as the game is within 3. Oh, nice. By the way, Razor Ramon, who I'm assuming is a Reds fan because he has the Reds avatar in YouTube chat, said that he got a Matt McClain in auction, serial number 2 out of 5,000. Pretty low serial number. That's cool.
That is cool. So far it has not become a thing in So Rare where it seems to like affect the pricing at all, like the serial numbers. But I still kind of like to get those low serial numbers and hope that it does take off at some point. So that's cool.
Yeah. Especially if he's a Reds fan, which, like I said, it seems like a reasonable assumption because of what his avatar is. But let's look through some of the upcoming games, Neil. Something you and I like to do is try to find the starting pitchers that are in premier spots. I think it's been a valuable exercise for us. We look through the MLB schedule like you have here, and we just look at the upcoming games and which pitchers are ones that we might want to consider.
Eflin against Kansas City looks okay.
Is this Friday? Yeah, Friday.
This is Friday. So we've got Eflin against Kansas City.
Not Senga. And if I'm not mistaken, Eflin has relief pitcher eligibility, right?
I believe. And do I have an Eflin? Let me actually check this.
I'm pretty sure you do. I think you have an Eflin with relief pitcher eligibility. So you could go with him instead of Strider at relief.
Yes. Yes, I do. Yeah. Yes, I can. All right. That's good to see.
Oh, by the way, it looks like they removed Strider as the projected pitcher.
Yep.
All right. So Eflin, really good. Yep. Good find right there. So Eflin,
we'll put him in there.
At relief pitcher.
You
don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about whether or not Romano comes in or not.
Right. I can just play Eflin. That's easier.
Got the workaround. All right. So there's one of interest. Senga, super high variance, but don't like the matchup on the road against the Phillies. A lot of TBDs.
Bieber. Not the best spot in Milwaukee. Or no, sorry, it's in Cleveland.
His strikeouts have been down a good amount this year.
Yeah.
Let's keep scrolling, see what else stands out. Like Chris Bassett against the A's, that would normally be like, oh, anybody against the A's, but Chris Bassett has really sucked this year.
Yeah.
Pull up Chris Bassett's numbers right here. But it has not been pretty for Chris Bassett. I'll have the exact numbers in a second here. All right, Bassett, 4.16 ERA, 4.62 expected ERA, 4.99 FIP. His strikeout rate, 20.6% is his lowest since 2018, so that's not looking great for him. Joe Musgrove is an interesting one at home against the Nationals.
Yeah, that is interesting.
And something that you had pointed out on a show, I want to say 2 weeks ago that you and I were doing together. We were looking at Joe Musgrove. We're trying to figure out, like, hey, how come his numbers aren't quite lining up? And then we found out that like 33% of the runs he's given up this year were from that one Mexico City start. So the number's a little deceptive from Joe Musgrove.
I wonder if Emmett Sheehan has a card yet. Because he's only made, like one start? I mean, I probably don't want it for this particular slate anyway, but I don't actually know like how quickly they put new cards out. Let's see here. All right, no Sheehan yet. How about
no cards found on Emmett Sheehan. So
All right, no.
Sheehan has made, by the way, for what it's worth, in case anybody's looking for a Sheehan in the near future, he has made one start this year. He pitched 6 scoreless innings in that start for the Dodgers. He has some pretty decent minor league numbers. He is an unranked prospect. He's almost 24 years old, but still some pretty good looking numbers in Double-A this year. And he doesn't project all that poorly either. So could be an interesting one, especially if for whatever reason he ends up getting the relief pitcher eligibility. Let's move on to Saturday and see if there's any pitchers we could find that look good for Saturday.
I am curious what Razor Ramon is talking about. So there must be a specific type of contest where you can play both limiteds and commons, and I've never tried playing this, but it sounds interesting to me. He says, here's what I'm trying to figure out. Should you always play a limited over a common? Because people with all commons keep beating me. It's 45% boost. That seems like a lot. 45% boost for limited in a that would be a lot. So I would probably go with the limited there, but we'll have to look at that in a minute. All right, but first we can take a look at Saturday's slate. Merrill Kelly in San Francisco. What do you think about that?
So, by the way, the other part of Razor, it kind of depends what cards you have, right? You just play your best guys.
Yeah, true.
All right, let's see what we got here. Was there a particular pitcher you're asking about?
Yeah, I was asking about Merrill Kelly in San Francisco.
Merrill Kelly's had a really good start to the year. I don't totally buy into it, though. He's had a lot of really good batting average on luck on batting average on balls in play. Jose Barrios at home against the A's. That one's kind of interesting, though.
Do you trust Jose Barrios, though? I
Absolutely
agree.
not, but he's pitching against the A's.
Yeah, true. Yeah, we consider Jose Barrios.
I've been stacking a lot of A's in DFS lately. It went well last night, but
they've been doing pretty. Haven't they been doing preting well recently in general? Like they're on kind of a win streak.
And it hasn't really impacted like their ownership for DFS purposes. So last night, they're going up against Williams for the Guardians, who's one of their top pitching prospects, one of the best pitching prospects in baseball. Williams ended up being like 40-something% owned, and the A's had 0 ownership last night. So at least for like smaller field single entry stuff, I really like the A's for that reason, and they ended up coming through. But yeah, we haven't really seen any kind of shift, at least in terms of how people are viewing the A's. And by the way, I still think it's a terrible, terrible team, but probably not quite as bad as people are viewing them to be.
Yeah, and that was, I mean, obviously a really sharp spot to play them when they're going up against a pitcher who, although he has pedigree, like he's still like making his major league debut. Like you don't really know what to expect from. So it seems like the right kind of spot to attack the A's.
But yeah, maybe no Barrios for me on this slate. Let's keep scrolling down.
Ryan Greenbaum.
Off to a good start. Not against the Houston Astros, though.
Yeah. Ryan wants us to go over strategy in general for Sorare a little bit. You're kind of seeing my process, and I think Greg, you agree with that. Like, kind of the first thing that I look at always is like first look at the teams. So just like I go through on this, I look up probable pitchers on the MLB homepage. I go through and look day by day for the 3 or 4 game slate to see what are the pitching matchups. So I kind of look at which pitchers have a good matchup and choose pitchers accordingly who I'm going to play. And then same thing for bats. Like first thing I look at obviously is always, is there a game in Coors, which we have here? So the Angels obviously look really good here, but in general, I try to stack. I still don't know if that's the correct approach. What do you think, Greg? Do you think stacking is probably
I think you want to stack when possible. Not like you don't want to stack to the point where it's like, hey, I'm playing random 9-hole hitter over Aaron Judge or anything like that. But within reason, you want to stack, you want to correlate your players. And then also something that Razor Ramon has brought up in chat, which I think is a very reasonable point as well. Pay attention to how many games people are playing. Like it's an advantage if you got the Friday, Saturday, Sunday slate coming up and you got one team plays 3 games, another team plays 2 games, the extra games, extra opportunities for fantasy points. So that's something
that's
also
a really good point too. Yep. And if you can play, like in some contests, you're gonna be able to find starting pitchers so you can play in the relief pitcher spot. I generally think that's a good approach. But we're still all kind of trying to figure out as we go along as well.
Yeah. So some of the ones that Neil was the one who was hip to this first, but like Strider at the relief pitcher spot, that's kind of a cheat code. Zach Eflin, another one we have found is a starting pitcher as relief pitcher eligibility. That's something you want to be interested in because it's not to say that there aren't good relief pitchers that can't score a lot of points. Neil just had a lineup that got 40 out of Jordan Romano, but there's so much variance to relief pitchers because it is impossible to know if they are or aren't going to get into the games. Right? It's something that's completely out of our control. You could speculate for the upcoming slate, we're just talking about Jordan Romano. The Blue Jays are at home against the
A's.
The A's. It was, yeah, right. So the A's. So they're going to be favored in those games. It's going to give Romano extra opportunities for saves, but nothing is guaranteed, and they could be up by more than 3 runs. So if possible, it makes the most sense to try to get some of those starting pitchers with relief pitcher eligibility.
Yep. And I believe you can only do that in the limited or more rarer contests. Like I guess what I'm trying to say, I don't think you can do it in the common contest, because I think in the common contest you can only play cards from this year, maybe, or I don't think you have relief pitcher eligibility for Spencer Strider. I could be wrong about that. It's possible that you can, but I think it might be only possible in the limited and rarer contests.
All right, let's go check out Sunday now. Not a lot of ace starting pitchers in good matchup. Actually, not even really a lot of ace starting pitchers in general.
Oh, well, first, Pablo Lopez in Detroit looks okay to me, so I just want to point that one out. As a Twins homer, I feel obligated. All right, and then Sunday.
All right, what do we got Sunday?
Scherzer versus Wheeler, like two good pitchers here, but not in great spots.
I don't mind. I wouldn't have minded Wheeler against the Mets, but Pete Alonso's back now. Here's probably the one that's going to stand out the most. Tyler Glass now at home against the Royals.
Yeah, that looks pretty good.
That looks like the best pitcher possible. Yuri Perez, that's not a bad spot for him against the Pirates. Perez looks like an absolute stud. He is. The other thing, too, you watch him pitch, is like, oh, this guy seems like he's 9 feet tall, and the ball is at home plate as soon as it leaves his hand. Something else that we should note is that there is a Colorado series, which is something that we always talk about. So before, when Ryan asked us, what is brief strategy? Look for ace starting pitchers and look if there's going to be a slate at Coors Field for the offenses.
Yep. The first things I look at. Bailey Obergon in Detroit is somebody that you could play, I think. Again, my Twins homerism coming out.
Yeah, so I think overall of the pitchers we've looked at, hard to not think the best option is Tyler Glasnow right now.
Yeah, I like the Glasnow option. I will say, I forget who was posted their lineup in here. Hunter Brown in the starting pitcher spot. He is going against the Dodgers. Do you trust it? That's tough. That's a tough spot.
Nah, I wouldn't. By the way, Razor Ramon is saying that there is the Wembley Field game between the Cardinals and Cubs.
Oh.
Let's see. When is...
Do we know anything about Wembley Field? I didn't realize that.
It's very hitter friendly.
Okay.
Let's see.
Let me see if I can find
How many games do they play? Do they play 2 or 3?
Oh, yeah. So this one is in London on Sunday. It shows it here.
Yeah, I think they might only... I could be wrong. I think this might only be a 2-game series, though.
Saturday also in London, and then Friday. Not seeing them.
Yeah, so it is a really hitter-friendly park. We've had some really high-scoring games there in the past, but I don't know if it's enough for me to want to play 2 games of them over three games of other spots.
Okay, so it's Reza said compared it to Mexico game and play 2. Is it similar to the Mexico City game? Like, is it that level of hitter-friendly?
Not quite that extreme.
Okay, if it were, then I would actually probably play it there, but. If it's not to that extreme.
It's not the same altitude.
Okay.
I remember the Yankees and Red Sox played in London. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, one of the games was 17-13. I think my dad was at that game. He was on vacation at the time. Wow. It just happened like by coincidence. He's like, "Hey, do you know the Yankees are playing here today?" And then he just went to like a Yankees game.
That's awesome.
But yeah, 17-13 was one of those games. And then I think the follow-up game might have been lower scoring.
Okay.
Wembley Stadium park factors. Let's see if there's anything on this.
And like in just about every series, every other team will have 3 games on this slate too, which is kind of a knock against them. Like if it were like half and half, maybe you go to the 2-gamer. But since like every other team is going to have 3 games, it's a little bit tougher. And here's another thing that I like to do, Ryan, is just the easiest way for me to see how many games a team has on the slate. I just go into one of the contests, and then I go over to the flex spot. And then you can see all of your players because you're in the flex spot, all the positions, and just scroll through and see if there are any teams that have outliers in terms of the number of games on the slate. So far, I'm seeing only 3 games on it. This says the Reds have 3 games on the slate. All right, let me look at that again.
I think the Reds have 3 because they play on Friday.
Oh, so the Cubs have 2, the Reds have 3?
It's the Cubs-Cardinals.
Oh, Cubs. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, Cubs-Cardinals.
That's where I'm. All right. Yeah.
You just saw teams in red and grouped them all together.
I always get certain teams mixed up. I actually like the D-backs. Sometimes I have trouble with the Reds also. I don't know. It's like a weird brain function thing. Let's see.
All right, we got a few minutes. Let's try to build out your lineup here.
All right.
I know you. I think you still have Rockies players, correct?
I do have Rockies players.
So let's go with some of them because the Rockies are going to draw.
All right. Well, starting with the starting pitcher spot, I only have 2 pitchers that are projected to start. So I might have to play Zach Wheeler against the Mets.
Griffin Canning, Tyler Anderson are the 3 pitchers that are going to be going for the Angels. So I don't have any issues stacking against them.
All right. So I'm going to start with Zach Wheeler and then Zach Eflin in the relief pitcher spot.
Okay. Any other Zachs?
Yeah. First, we got to find all of our Zachs. That's another strategy.
Yeah,
you want to match
players
names.
With the same name.
Yeah. All right. So in this spot, in the corner infield spot, do I just go with Freddie Freeman?
I would go with Ryan McMahon.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even. I missed Ryan McMahon there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ryan McMahon.
Diaz. I still don't know that I want to go to Elias Diaz necessarily.
He's been really good this year, though. I'm going to pull up Elias Diaz's numbers. And not just like a Coors Field thing. Like, he's generally been really good, especially as a catcher here. Yeah, 102 WRC plus. So he's been above average hitting. And then when you also bring in the potential, park factors in play, I don't think Diaz is a bad option.
I'm going with it. I stand corrected. Diaz is a good play here. I see catcher in the middle infield spot where I can also play shortstop and second base. My gut instinct is to not play it, but yeah, if he's good enough, I'll go with it. What about Jerks and Profar?
By the way, the slash line at home for Elias Diaz this year, 336 batting average, 371 on base percentage, 579 slugging. So he's been really, really strong at home. Even waiting for the park factors, 125 WRC plus at Coors Field this year.
All right. I like it.
Let's see. Outfield. Do you have any?
So I've got Jerks and Profar. Apparently Charlie Blackmon is inactive and Chris Bryant is inactive. So I do still have my Rockies, but they are not playing.
All right. So let's go with Profar just for the extra correlation.
And now I could go Freeman, Betts, Corbin Carroll. Maybe do you think I should do another secondary stack here?
Yeah, let's see. Who do the Diamondbacks play?
The Diamondbacks
are going to be going against
in San Francisco.
Nah, it's in San Francisco. Never mind.
Yeah, I've got. I could play Schwarber and Harper. Where are the Phillies? I feel like they don't have
playing the Mets.
Yeah, I could.
Who are the Reds playing again? Who are the pitchers, I mean?
That they're playing against. Let's see. AJ Smith-Shawver.
Okay. Schuster and Morton.
As far as facing Braves pitchers, it's not.
I don't mind that. Let's go with the Reds. I'd say go Jake Fraley and then India.
Perfect.
All right.
There it is.
Lock it in.
Locking it in.
And that does it for us. Brings us to the end of the show. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Thank you guys also for we got a lot of engagements in chat, lots of questions. Love to see it. So if you guys enjoyed the show, like the video, subscribe to the channel, come back next Thursday. Hang out with us. We'll build some lineups. You guys could throw some questions in for us and we could hit up and answer all those. So Razor Ramon, Ryan Rennebaum, everybody else who's been active in the YouTube channel, we appreciate you. If you guys want to sign up at Sorare for the first time, use the link below. Sign up totally for free. Tonight, MLB Live Before Lock. I will be on there breaking down a smaller slate, only 3 games, but still be doing Live Before Lock until lock nonetheless. So go check that out. Good luck with all your lineups tonight, guys, and I'll see you here later.